Okay, what can we say about Larry that Scott Berger hasn't said under his breath?
He knows! No, I love Scott. He's great.
I want to talk about Larry and share some of the things you might not know about him. So Larry's life is a profile in perseverance. He grew up in Philadelphia and he's the oldest of 9 children. He went to Cardinal Doherty High School, which at the time had the highest population of any high school in the state. He finished ranked 8th in his class of 1,500 students. Yep. Larry earned a full academic scholarship to both Penn State and Temple. He couldn't afford the train fare from Fern Rock to Penn State Ogons, now Abington.
I chose Temple, hated it.
So he went to Temple for 1 year. Larry told me he didn't value his scholarship at the time and went to work part-time at Acme and stayed 28 years. Eventually becoming shop steward and union negotiator. Larry eventually went back to school and took another break when his son was born. Larry always knew his priorities and put school on hold again. 16 years later, he started back at Montco before finishing at Gwynedd Mercy. Larry's one of the few people who taught at all 3 CB high schools, started east, then west, and helped open south. But Larry's a marathoner, administrators are sprinters. Slow and steady will wear you down. Larry's been in the hot seat more than once, but he's still standing strong. So Larry's a tough guy, he doesn't go down easy. Maria Montano once called Larry in on a post-observation conference. Maria told Larry it was all cake, all icing, no cake. Right? So Larry told Maria, it's been nice knowing you. Next year she was in Northern California doing correspondence courses. Larry's a true professional, was continuously, or should I say, constantly sending Scott Berger links and suggestions to help improve instruction within the social studies department. Larry never got a response. After a few years, Scott brought in his posse to see Larry because Scott wasn't allowed to meet with Larry alone, so he had to bring backup. Scott told Larry that he needed to cut down his professionalism as Larry's emails had jammed up Scott's Outlook account. And if he didn't stop, he would have to go on an improvement plan. So Larry's response was, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Next year, Scott was transferred to the Ad Center as Nancy Sylvia's chauffeur or whipping boy. All right, so Scott Davidheiser came to observe Larry. After a few minutes, Scott started sliding notes to Larry that said modern world. It kept sliding these modern world, modern world. So at the post-observation conference, Scott again addressed the modern world class. Scott gave Larry needs improvement in his observation. When Larry told Scott that the class was actually ages, Scott immediately put on an improvement plan. Scott then told Larry, thanks for stopping by. Next year he's begging Bill Miles for a job at Lower Moreland. So the moral of the story is, don't try Larry, he'll wear you down. Okay, so every time Larry was on the hot seat, I would need a picture to represent this at the end of the year roast. Okay, I have pictures of Larry in the boiler room cage, the fence in the maintenance supply room, and the security cube by the main office. I have more pictures of Larry locked up than there are mugshots of Meek Mill, OJ, Charlie Sheen, and R. Kelly. That's right, you don't like Charlie Sheen? All right, one summer Larry got involved with taking students biking through France in the Tour. This was the Tour de Nightmare. All right, Steve Galzin lent Larry a bike to use while in France. The first day, the bike broke in half, like literally 2 pieces. Okay? So there was no plans for lodging or reservations during the trip. Larry wound up driving the van. He got really stressed, worrying about the kids. Matt Smith didn't know if Larry was going to hang himself or kill Galzin. The French authorities were called, but Larry didn't know much French and kept repeating, "Sacre bleu, idiot! Sacre bleu, idiot!" The nightmare eventually ended. It was back to school. At South, Larry is Mr. Positivity. Whether it's in the classroom, pumping kids up at pep rallies, or announcing the football games. As a CB South football announcer, Larry calls a game like he's on radio. Right? A constant stream of introductions, shout-outs, running commentary, and singing. At the introductions, Larry would always introduce tonight's spotter is legendary Socialites coach Pat Balkin. I always got a kick out of that one. When Larry gives his shout-outs during the game, it doesn't matter who it is. Could be cheerleaders, band parents, opposing team mascots, doesn't matter. Larry would spy a student in the crowd, there's a shout-out. Okay? Larry once gave a shout-out to Terry Remick, who was sitting in the ticket booth saying he liked her hair that day. One time he gave a shout out to Jim Richter sitting on the back hill outside the fence. Right? Larry was upset that Jim didn't buy a ticket, so he was too cheap. What's right is right. Okay? And then when the band would play Sweet Caroline each week, Larry would sing along on the mic. Larry's a one-man karaoke machine. Okay, by the way, Neil Diamond's estate heard you singing and sent in a cease and desist letter tonight. Larry would always go nuts during the kickoff. Let's rise for the kickoff. It didn't matter if we were kicking off or receiving, down 21, up 3, it didn't matter. Larry would always be shouting to everyone to rise for the kickoff. In school, Larry's very serious about keeping the students safe. Larry's fully prepared for any intruder and would use anything to ward off strangers. Now, in his classroom, he has balls, bats, batons, poison blow darts, and Halloween masks of Steve Galzin. Gotta be prepared. Larry, you've been an important part of CB South and a positive influence on students. You made an impact on everybody you encountered. You worked hard to get to this point. All I have to say is you're here at South, and Joe Janelle, Maria Rotano, Scott Berger, Nancy Silvius, Michael James, Scott Davidheiser, and Rod Stone or not. You outlasted them all. South will never be the same. We'll miss you in the halls, but we'll see and hear you at the football game. So let's rise your glass and toast to Larry. Love you, brother.
You're the man, Larry.